It's hard not to drink, man. It's very hard. I work in a place where there's a bar every night. I've been trying to be good. It's very difficult. I read this article that said, try to replace drinking with another activity, like tennis with a friend. I was like, yeah, that's a very helpful example. That's always the crossroads I find myself at 4:57 a.m. I can't tell you how often I'm coming out of a blackout like, fuck, I should have done doubles instead. I brought my Wilson racket and everything. You're telling me to replace an addiction with cardio? That's very helpful. I'm gonna start walking into halfway houses full of crackheads. Like, have you guys done Zumba? It's so much better than crack. They're like, thanks, we didn't know. That was helpful. Of course you want to get fucked up. Have you tried living? I'm happy and I want to get fucked up. Have you watched the news? It makes you want to drink. Another mass shooting after another mass shooting. It's always the same thing, too. It's always some guy who's like, I heard voices in my head. We all do. Everyone hears voices in their head. Good people just don't listen to them. If I listened to all the voices in my head, I would be a sometimes gay street fighter. So, I know. It sounds like a confusing video game. It's not, you know? Why is E Honda butt fucking me? Wow. That's his finisher. Every mass shooter, it was a very quiet man. That should be part of the background check for guns, right? You want this gun, you better be fucking chatty. Really. Do my podcast, we'll see if you're an extrovert. I don't trust it. It's a sad time to live in, with all these... There's school shootings now, it's horrible. Because now getting held back is a real threat. Yeah. Do you want to go to summer school? Please. I've already done 2 tours of freshman year. I don't want it. Some of these jokes, the content you're not going to like, but structurally they're going to be really solid. So that helps. It does help with it. Look. These shootings are so senseless and horrible that sometimes these anchors try to make sense of them on the news and they try to sound profound and it just comes out wrong. I was watching this guy after a shooting and he said, now would be a good time to be around people. I was like, yeah, that sounds a lot like where the tragedy happened. So I'm going to stay at home alone. And if I die, it's going to be from autoerotic asphyxiation, okay? On my terms. That's a better way to... That's how I want to go. Peacefully in my own hotel closet. That's a weird fetish, right? Autoerotic asphyxiation, you gotta choke yourself to come? I don't know. How do you even find out you're into that? Are you just jerking off in a turtleneck and you're like, I like where this is going. A little more fresh. I was just in California. They have a 10-day wait for the guns. That's a good rule. A gun should never be an impulse buy. You should never be returning a gun like we made up. So. You know what's weird? They always bring up the Founding Fathers. Every gun debate, they bring up the Founding Fathers, right? They always say the Founding Fathers had guns. They did. They also had wigs. It was a long time ago. That's how long ago it was. They thought a powdered wig was a good look, so that's my stance on guns. You could have a gun, but I think you should have to wear the wig. Right? Because at least then I can tell who's dangerous from afar. If I'm trying to get in my apartment at 2 a.m. and I turn around and see a Ben Franklin-looking motherfucker, I just hope that's not an intelligent woman, honestly. But, yeah. Yeah. If you're gonna go in the hood, it's gonna look like the cast of Hamilton. But they always bring up the Founding Fathers. They never mention the fact these people had a life expectancy of the mid-30s, so it probably wasn't a big deal when they got shot. I would assume most funerals were like, look, he had 3 to 5 years left tops, so that's like getting shot now in your 80s, which would almost be kind of cool. How would you rather die? Connected to tubes for 3 months? Would you rather go out like a G? I want to die in my 80s in a gang-related incident. I want my obituary to say comedian Sam Morril was shot dead today at the age of 87. His last words, thug life. As he emptied the clip. There's so much to be scared of, too, isn't there? Incels, there are new words you have to learn. Incels. The involuntary celibates. They don't get laid, so they become terrorists, and they look a lot like me. It's very upsetting. But that's a certain type of person, because I have married friends that don't get laid. They haven't made the jump to ISIS, but maybe they should. ISIS lacks that type of diversity. They don't have enough divorced men. Just a bunch of dudes. Death to the infidels, and one guy like, also Karen. I mean, we gotta kill Karen too, right? You ever read the botched terrorist missions? Those are my favorites, the ones who couldn't cut it. There were these guys around 9/11, they were getting too drunk at strip clubs in Florida. I love the fact that you can come to this country hating us, and then you go to a few strip clubs, and you're like, they're not that bad. It turned out to be a false report, though, because it said they were going to strip clubs and dive bars and even college parties. I was like, oh man, that's such a bummer. Because that's where you want to meet a terrorist, like a mixer. They're like, we used to be Al-Qaeda, now we're Sigma Chi. So, the objective is still virgins, but, I think about it all the time. I think about, all these scary ways you could die traveling. I read this story about a depressed pilot who nose dove a plane and killed all these people on board. So, that's got to be a bummer. You know what the first thing I say when I get on flights now is I say, what a lovely day it is to be alive. And I hope that positive energy trickles its way into the cockpit. And they're like, yeah, it is good. Because I'll be on flights sometimes and the pilot comes on, he's cheesy and people roll their eyes, but that's what you want. That guy's still trying. What do you want, a down in the dumps captain? Hey, this is your pilot, it's gonna be a bumpy ride, but that's life, it's hard. So, says it's gonna be a 6-hour trip, we're gonna land way sooner than that, so buckle up, or don't, it doesn't matter. I'm gonna murder you. Thanks for flying, Spirit.